Hey everybody, welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about advice and church leaders. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you end up liking it, hit the notification bell, leave your comments, and please make sure to share it on social media. So something I've been thinking about recently is what our attitude should be about advice that we receive from church leaders. And I think about a couple stories from the Army. So one was, so I only did one enlistment, right? So about like 3.5 years, and I was in the same unit the whole time. I never changed units like it seemed like everybody else did. I just like stayed in the same place, same position, which was fine. When I started my unit, it was like a standalone brigade, which you don't need to know what a brigade is, but normally brigades are under a division. And about halfway through my time, we actually got brought in under 1st Cavalry Division. So there was a change in culture. There was a change in our patch that we wear on our shoulder because now we had a new unit. And what they did is basically on that first day, they brought the whole brigade in for a briefing by the commanding general of 1st Cavalry Division, and he welcomed us, and he kind of went over the culture of 1st Cavalry Division and some of the history and some of the expectations. And one of the things that he introduced was one thing that cavalry units are authorized to wear as part of their uniform is the cavalry hat. Not something that we would wear in combat, but it's, the whole military, it's all about tradition. And this is one of those things that 1st Cav was authorized to do. It's like, it's like that hat that I wore on the 11th of November for my, which is Veterans Day. It's also my anniversary. And so basically what they said is, it's not going to get issued to you. You have to buy your own, but you're authorized to wear it. And to get the hat, like the whole setup, I get the pins and the case and stuff like that, everything that you need, it ended up being about $300. So it was a little bit of an investment. Now, he said that it wasn't required. Okay, it wasn't required. And then later I came to find out that for the leadership, right, for officers and senior enlisted, basically, yeah, you don't have to, but it's strongly, strongly encouraged, especially if you're a leader, right? And so basically that's what you saw. All the leadership, they bought the cavalry hat, and we were authorized to wear it on like Fridays, which was kind of a nice thing because like you already have the spirit of Friday, you're going into the weekend, and it's kind of fun to wear the cav hat instead of just like the regular patrol cap. So like you'd wear like your camouflage uniform and then you'd have the cavalry hat instead of the patrol cap. So I thought it was fun. I decided to buy a cav hat. It seems like a lot of people did, especially the leadership. But like I said, it was something that was basically, even though it was optional, if you were a leader, you're basically expected to do it. Another story. So when I started in the Army, we were wearing this like digital camouflage that's like different shades of light gray, which was actually a pretty crappy camouflage in my opinion. It didn't really work anywhere except for certain places in Afghanistan. And later on, the Army switched over just for deployments to this other camouflage pattern that looks more like your traditional camouflage. It's like brown and green and beige and tan and like these different kind of like woodland colors. And they started issuing that for the deployment. And I deployed to Afghanistan and I got that camouflage, and that's what we wore. So starting in, I think it may have been 2014. No, it was 2015 that they started to want to make that the official camouflage for the entire Army. And everyone had several years to purchase the new uniform, the new camouflage, using your clothing allowance that they give you once a year. But they give you like I think it was like 3 years or something to do a total transition over. And during that time, you had people that had like a mix of different um, uniforms and equipment in both camouflage patterns. So what they allowed you to do is like when you went to, go to the range, for example, and if you were wearing like your vest, your helmet cover, your gloves, well, not your gloves, but like stuff like that, you could like mix and match the two camouflage patterns. They were going easy on it. The normal standard is you would wear the entire, everything would be matching. So I remember there was this one day that my company commander came into the supply room, and he was asking if anyone had a screwdriver, and I gave him my Leatherman, which has like a screwdriver attachment. And he started changing out his helmet cover from the old camouflage pattern to the new one. And I was like, oh, okay, well, sir, I just so you know, I think you don't necessarily have to do that. I've been reading the articles on, with the Army, and like you're allowed to mix and match. And he's like, well, yeah, that's what you can do, but is that what you should do? And I agreed with him. Because that's what I tried to do. There was one piece of equipment that I couldn't trade out, so that one had to be mismatched. But I myself tried to be all the same camouflage head to toe. And so there's a lesson there. It's not just an Army thing. That's just life, and especially with the church. There are times that the church will put out advice on different topics, things that it's not doctrine, it's not doesn't have to do with your salvation, but it's the same kind of concept. Like, even though you can do something, is it what you should do? And the reason why I posed that question in regards to the church is because hopefully everyone that's watching this, your ultimate goal is to achieve exaltation in the celestial kingdom, and not just the celestial kingdom, but the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. And aren't we always told, you dress for the job that you want, right? In these two stories that I just shared, the strongest emphasis was with the leaders to comply with whatever the standard was, right? So in the one case, if you're a leader, buy the cav hat, wear it, and be an example to the rest of your soldiers. And then the same thing with the transition from one camouflage to another. As a leader, do the right thing. Wear the, pick one camouflage and dress in that camouflage and be an example to others. Because, in the gospel and again in life, there's kind of like three different stages that you go through. The first and most basic stage is you work on yourself and you make sure that you are squared away. So like as a soldier, you just make sure that you're in the right place at the right time in the right uniform. As a member of the church, you work on your personal prayer and scripture study, and you try and learn as much as you can for yourself. But at a certain point, you'll be called to a position of leadership, most likely. And then you'll be over, several other people. In the Army, maybe you'll be put over a squad. In the church, maybe you'll be, a leader of some sort. Maybe you'll be over a class or something like that, and you'll be teaching others. And before that point, it'll be necessary for you to gain that knowledge for yourself. Then you're equipped to share that with others. But then there's still another level above that, where instead of just like being over or interacting with a small group of people, you kind of rise up to the organizational level, where you aren't maybe necessarily dealing with people one-on-one, but you're overseeing the whole operation and making the really, really big decisions. So if that's what we want to do, right? Because that's, I imagine that's basically what you're going to be doing if you become exalted. Aren't we promised that we'll become kings and queens and priests and priestesses and stuff like that? Yeah. And if that's what we want to do, we should probably act like it, act like a leader. Um, don't just follow the standard. Go all the way. Don't just do the bare minimums. I think that should be our attitude with the church. Whenever there's advice that's given, don't take it as just advice, just like, oh, no, treat it a little bit more than that, because this is coming from people that have keys and they have authority. And specifically when it comes to the prophet, this is a man that can see into the future. That's like the definition of a prophet, someone that can see into the future. The Lord reveals things to him for our benefit. So when he puts something out, it would probably be wise to take that advice. Take the advice from a man who's receiving direct revelation from the Lord and can see the future. Probably a good idea. Don't let pride get in the way. Don't plateau or just like keep yourself at a lower level. Try and go all the way. Don't just stay down here and be just a basic soldier that all you're doing is just worrying about yourself. That's only going to serve you for so long. And you should progress beyond that point and start thinking about others and doing what you can with your gifts to help others, and then be in tune with the whole organization. Because we're trying to establish Zion where we're one in heart, one in mind, just as the Father is one with just as the Father is one with the Son and the Son is one with the Father, and we're supposed to try and be one with them. So anyway, those are just my thoughts on it. Just always try and follow advice and don't try and find ways to get out of it or justify why you shouldn't do it. It may not be an issue of salvation, but if you're wanting to be a leader and if you're wanting to exceed and excel after this life, then probably the right approach is to follow whatever that advice is. So that's all I have to say for this video. If you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video. If you liked it, hit the notification bell. Please make sure to share this on your social media, and I'll talk to you guys later.